that this series is going to answer. As we heard from earlier, a lot of changes coming in for both teams, changes of different types here.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to see how these actually play out with so much pressure on this match again. You know, GE desperately needs a win just to even have a hope of maybe even getting to playoffs, but letting them know, Blaze King, let's go. But like, I mean, also then of course on RRQ, because your group is so dominant that you're in, you need this win just as badly. So this is going to be a really awesome battle between two good teams, two great coaches.
Yeah, there's just, again, so many big things happening right now. The head-to-heads as well, right? It's going to be interesting to see how the calls right now will be coming in from Russ and Ellie. Now that we heard as well from Spin that they're trying to get Benkai more involved in this GE roster. So is that really going to help them ultimately here into the series? So many things that is being adjusted by both teams in different ways, and it's going to have to culminate here and now.
And you just gotta love Blaze King, you know, going over with a friendly trash talk, right? For the Indonesians on the other side, of course, Blaze King as well knows these players so well. And you look at T1, right? They use the Indonesian to defeat the Indonesians. Could that be the same here for the side of GE?
I mean, we've been kind of waiting for one of those like classic Blaze King games. I mean, he was so dominant in APAC for so long. He's been okay so far here in Pacific, but he hasn't had like that statement game, that game where he shows up and starts getting aces and taking over rounds. So I definitely have my eyes onto him to see if he can step it up a little bit. Maybe that's part of the move as well, with Benkai kind of chiming in with the calls.
Well, let's see indeed how this series go. It is map number 1. Let's toss it on over to Quack and William.
Thank you very much, Mika, Paperthin, and Asteroid. Yes, that is right. This is going to be Global Esports versus RRQ. Some familiar faces, but at the same time, very critical moments, right? Third week.
Yeah, I mean, GE, obviously they just talked about it ad nauseum, but GE just desperately need a win, right? You don't want to go out in stage 1 as the team that didn't ever get a win, let alone now on RRQ. They thought they might have it locked in, but everyone on Omega is starting to look better and better. You know, even DFM thought they were going to try to challenge a little bit after taking down T1. Things are absolutely in flux, so especially with this kind of creative format with the cross-group round robin, this is an absolutely do or die for both sides.
And RRQ has always been improving. Sometimes, you know, just not quite narrowly making out to a win. You know, they did beat teams like Bleed last week against T1 was a little bit rough. But today the map picks do seem to favor them a little bit more.
You know, I like to think that I've done my job last year as the RRQ Glazer, because now people are saying like, oh, they're like one of the powerhouses. I'm thinking like, I don't know, they might need some more time. It feels like they might need to cook a bit more. But obviously today, with 2GE coming in, we'll see how that changes things. We are going to see, of course, 2GE highlighted as it's its first match here in 2024 for RRQ. But we'll be picking up that Omen. Even Coach Spin saying it shouldn't make too big of a difference. Obviously, I think you still expect the same exact compositions.
He's still very much involved with the team, and he's always been that good. We don't always get to see him play, but you know, he's always around. Meanwhile, if we're just taking a look at the compositions across the board, William, it's practically the same, right? And we've seen how both teams have performed so far, but RRQ has always been the one that's looking a little bit more impressive with some of their setups.
Yeah, and this Lotus match, actually, I think the first two matches are going to be very interesting because they have very differing tendencies and styles that could counteract each other, right? Depending on how they've kind of what their POV is on that prep. So RRQ, one of the things that really caught them off guard when they were going up against T1 was that they relied a little bit too heavily, especially when they were on the attack side, on that 1-4 setup, and then on the defense as well, they were kind of waiting to see the util and then trying to react to it, etc. Whereas Global Esports also maybe relies too much on their own util to try to make an attack as well.
And a lot of it falls onto the shoulders of players like Polvi, for example, especially when they are attacking. And that's exactly what we're going to have once we kick off the map. Global Esports on the attack, RRQ defending.
So GE, Global Esports, what I would love to see today, win or lose, is being a bit more proactive with the timer. What we saw in their previous matches, both against Talon and DRX, was that they would kind of
Halo, Parisa. Sorry, lagi nge-share.
and then slowly
Discord
start
kah?
to take control past
Mau ikut
the
kah?
1 minute mark. But at that
Gua
point,
udah ada di
they're starting to
Discord,
run out of time
Parisa.
options. So
Sorry.
allow them to, you know, maybe take some
Nggak
counter
itu
plays as well. So
ngeberartiin.
let in a couple rounds.
Lagi
Just
nge-share
take
itu dong,
advantage of the tempo that you
nge-share
have on a
dulu.
3-site map as the attacking team.
Right, I see what you mean. You definitely want to see them, especially a team with such strong, you know, duelists and fraggers to go in for these duels. And if they can actually soften up some of the defenses, they might be able to do a bit more.
Oh,
Kan terus
now,
fokus
yeah,
buat
we're starting things
karena
off slow.
RRQ.
I mean, it is the
Bukan
pistol,
karena
but they get this from
RRQ,
RQ
karena
as well, not
Bani.
investing anything to take rubble control, right? They understand that
Karena
GE,
Bani
they're not going to
itu.
all in too early onto that rubble fight, so they'll just hold. You have that forward alarm bot that always gets so much value no matter which team's
Karena
playing it.
si
So
telur.
GE, like these are the rounds where push in, tag that bot. All right, that's already value you've gained right before the 1 minute mark. You know, still a little bit slow at the beginning, but it's value.
Pengennya sih gabung tapi lagi di rumah saudara ya. Ya udah.
But just as soon as it comes out, you've got the dark cover just to block off a little bit. And I love how Xfer is trying to play around this. Oh, but unfortunately not quite landing the shot. This gives Global Esports a lot more space into the C site.
It's a nice try. Xfer had a good read that there might be just a cut of
Masih
audio.
bisa sih ini.
Paint shows to try to delay. Should be able to still finish it. Oh, the
Oh.
C's a little bit late.
No, he's
Not
gone.
good to get the kill.
And he gets eaten, he's
Tahu
picked
udahlah
up
kalau
as
gitu.
well. So Polvi
Pulang
fights
dulu
right back.
boleh
Now
sih.
RQ gonna have to retake this without any
Kalau mau.
advantages. They've been smoked off as well, so just waiting for it to dissipate. Maybe 2G can toss in a paranoia. But the positioning from Global Esports seem a little bit too strong right now. The snake bite will get tossed down just to kind of weaken them a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. 2G tries to rush right in, gets a little bit of a right click, but it's not still enough. 3 targets left and flips us down to 10 HP. He swings, but Polvi just tags him down. A quad for this guy in the pistol round and very close to a showstopper.
Yeah, it might not be the flashiest round, but I think if you're a GE fan, that's a round that makes you feel good about the team already. You know, we don't want to write things off too early, obviously just 1 round, but sure, a bit slow, but they're still able to push in, try to clear out the alarm bot early. Then they decide to cut audio instead of having to use all their util to get in. And then they position the post plant to make sure that they have a crossfire at all times no matter where the paranoia comes through. Blaze King always had vision, and once the paranoia clears, Polvi is able to get a 4 kill. I mean, this is everything you wanted from this team for that pistol round, and Polvi's already getting hyped up.
That's exactly what you want. Global Esports
bengkai nyala.
fight though. This is their pistol.
Udah nyala semua kali ini. Udah. Jadi aku sibuk juga jaga adik-adik. Aku lagi sibuk buat asli. Sekarang acara awal besok nikahan om. Aku sibuk jaga adik-adik. Udah nggak usah dijaga. Nggak usah dijaga itu. Buang. Ya ketahuan.
GE, they're reading things very well. I mean,
Anjir, udah ketahuan anjir sifatnya gimana-gimana.
might be able to clear things up
GE,
for GE today.
tuh GE pakai
A
apa?
lot of tactical fights
Bentar
as
ganti
well.
Israel.
I mean, whether or not it's just Russ going in with this separate.
Dia tuh sibuk jaga adik-adik. Dibayar nggak
He's
itu?
calling out for that paranoia. They're going in for these kills, and they're making sure that they're going to keep every single weapon as they go into the next round. That's what you want to see from them.
Yeah, 40
langsung
seconds,
rotate.
so much time, and during
Langsung
all that,
rotate.
Blaze King creeps through. He realizes no setup,
Anjir,
no
Kodasin.
reactions either. Now he is going pretty deep, but he's got the Spectre. He's not in a bad position because you're still able to isolate fights 1v1, and now they have to clear him, right? I mean, if they clear him, sure, you get a weapon, but they have to wait and try to fight this out. He's able to reset the aim as well. An excellent round played out on the anti-eco by Global Esports.
Okay, Elmingward tries
What
the
the-
classic, but unfortunately it's going to be
Oh,
better with the
6-3.
ghost that takes
Dia
him
sih
down
masih masuk
instead.
situ.
And it's just a little bit of fun, you know. The best thing is that Global Esports does make it a flawless round. But for Blaze King, you know, the fact that these are some of his Indonesian
Temennya
brethren on the
semua.
other side.
Anjir, ente
it's a
sih
little bit of a
GE.
friendly
I
match
mean,
as well.
just imagine the storyline if the only teams RQ loses to
NTC
are
to
teams
GE.
with Indonesians on their squad. I mean, listen, we might be onto something here, okay? T1 might have been onto something, but they brought out the obscured IGL last week. Might have cracked the code.
That's the trick. Maybe Fleet's gonna have to pick up an Indonesian player next. But for now, dark covers a lot of rubble control.
Simpan
Global Esports gonna have to respect
dipaksa ke C, B-nya
This is now
ditinggal.
with the weaponry, with the defaults coming in. Global Esports. Usually when this happens, they just wait, they wait to see, and then they have to go for
Tinggal
util dump on to see.
2G
That's
ini.
what their tendencies have been. But do they go, especially since it's a bonus round, for a bit more contact play on C?
Ambil orb,
So far they've
dapat 1 kill,
a lot
Polvi
of room
ulti.
around this spot, so why not?
Udah basic.
I'm wondering how come RQ isn't really making any moves around the rotating door. Instead, this time just double stacking it up on
Siapa yang sabar aja sih?
default setup. Pillars getting checked, nothing found.
Sabar-sabaran.
See no
Naik.
reaggression onto Rubble. You're going to switch over Jemkin towards a link. And this map kind of favors RQ even with 2G slotting in, because generally the Omen can solo hold the Rumble for a long time, right? So it's not too important to have been scrimming a lot with the team. You're still able to go through the motions quite well.
It's taking a little bit of time though, so he's going to back up. Instead now holding her up around tree, tosses out a bit of a dark cover just to block off any potential access routes from Global Esports. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad actually starts to push in through C. Let's take the first point of contact. Polvi with a showstopper now, but nobody's on site, so it doesn't quite connect. And Xfero's looking for more targets to hit. There's 10 seconds left on the timer now, and Lightning Fast has the plan.
Nice.
But Jemkin with the wall bang manages to take him down in time. All of a sudden, it's a little
Nice.
more tricky for Russ and Polvi to stick
Aduh,
this
Polvi kalau udah pandang.
But no, it's just too hot. The landing zone, he's gonna have
Polvi
to
kalau udah
Yeah,
pandang
Omimor with the
udah.
jump peak forces him to stop the plant right there. Eventually
Nice.
cleans up the kills as well. So
Nice,
what
sudah
started
dapat
off a little
tapi
messy,
hilang.
I mean, Global Esports
Wah,
even go for the revolving
malah
RNA. I like what I
masih bisa
saw. It's a good
dibeliin itu.
evolution out of the more simplistic tendencies they had in previous matches. But RQ's ready with it, with the weaponry. But of course, they will have to buy up a couple.
Masih
So,
bagus.
you know, this is one of those classic
Masih
round
oke,
wars
masih
where
oke.
you really want to win this from both sides to make sure you can build up the creds.
A little bit more slow
Masih
for Global
oke.
Esports. But I mean, the way that works out is the fact that it's a wall bang, something that you don't quite expect that often. You know it's coming, but you don't really
Aduh,
expect
Polvi.
it. This time though, just all out in towards a rubble. You've got the entire squad of Global Esports, and Polvi finds the first pick. Elmimore continues to stay tucked away behind a lot of these smokes, and he might just be able to catch a sneaky one up against Global Esports as soon as the smoke dissipates. They're marking him though, Blaze very aware.
They know, man. Xfera and Omimor, they both love to play that spot, and they always peek out right as the smoke drops, whether it's a toxic screen, whether it's a dark cover. GE has come prepared, and that's always been true in all of their matches.
Mau ditemanin apa enggak, tapi lagi hujan tapi kalau ada share.
GE has always had good
Kalau ada
games. The first
share
30
screen
seconds of every round
boleh.
they played has
Masuk
always
aja
looked
di stop
pretty
dulu.
decent. So far in stage 1, it's just the
Boleh.
execution wasn't ever quite there. They could not ever quite put the exclamation mark at the end. But today, things are starting to come to fruition.
Now they've gotten the spike down now. They're marking all the exits. You even have
Mati.
Russ looking for the final player.
Boleh,
It's gonna
masuk
be
aja
2D
kalau mau.
Down in the dirt. Flawless round for Global Esports now, and it's going to be a little bit trickier for RQ to come back from it.
Yeah, I imagine if you go down on the rubble fight again, we might see a timeout.
Ben Polvi kalau enggak.
So Polvi doesn't go on to the left side. He doesn't go past rubble. He actually dives right through the middle. Why? Because RQ has always only sent Jemkin in. They always hide behind the toxic screen for the haunt. Jemkin's job is to clear it. So you know that you're in a 1v1 where he has to turn around for the haunt.
Kebaca semua gini stratnya Rapid.
Catching Polvi off guard.
Tapi rada canggung karena di rumah teman nanti deh tak pikirin dulu.
Chaotic.
Kau yang bilang, kau yang ituin.
Still now.
Jadi rumah saudara apa rumah teman? Yang benar.
Not a lot of contact, so they get
Oh,
a lot
plan
more
gini.
space to push up front. Elmimore only has a sheriff, so they are very aware they're going up against a slightly weaker buy.
And during all of this,
Oh,
you're
di
still
force
seeing if
sama
there's a
mereka
push
dong.
out from C-Mount from Benkai, right? So while I would love to see if Benkai maybe at least goes for a little bit of a jumpy contact, something like that, that could give them a bit more time. But what you're really waiting to see is, now that we've got contact on A, is there a bigger force on C? They only quite checked one, maybe two players
saudara.
over on the A side.
Ya,
So she's not very sure, is this a
saudara,
stack
ya,
or not? They're
saudara.
waiting for a reaction.
Let's see what they can fish up. Arky's not quite biting the bait though, Will.
Yeah,
So
but
it's at Ben.
Yeah, he's
Is-
on the move. Now, all of the Killjoy setup on C is very deep into the site, so Benkai's not going to find as much value as he would have liked. But what he is telling his teammates is, okay, it's not a forward setup.
Di
Still
belakang
not
banget
making
itu
that
alarm
entry, so
bot.
he might think that this site is relatively clear. This could be a rude awakening. There you
Ah,
go.
kan
Blaze with the
kebaca.
one kill on the A
Oh,
side.
there it is. Good kill, but at the same time, the Nightfall. Now it's just a bit of a fake as they head on over to the B site. It's
Kebaca,
completely open except for
guys.
Evan, but they have
Masih
those
dapat
exits
satu.
marked as well. 2G goes down to a bit of a trade. Now Jemkin wants to push up front to deny
Ah,
the spike
mati.
plant,
Itu
but he's
Jemkin.
being blocked off by Lightning Fast. Look at the cover from Global Esports. They are doing such a good job with the cover and fire movements. Polvi on the off angle now. Xfero comes in to chip.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, that's the head gone.
Oh,
Flips
man.
with the stinger actually does a bit of damage. Benkai, though, has the angle from the
Oh,
back.
yeah.
It's going to be Blaze King on the side of Baby Door
Yeah,
to clear out the rest of the Global Esports. Not too shabby at all.
Motornya dipakai
This
ya,
always gets a lot
ente
of
kalau
teams when
gitu.
it comes to that B site. When you see the clock ticking down, you think you have a better shot of denying that plan. But the fact of the matter is B site is
Ya,
prime
dia
for
kecolong
reteams.
sama.
Like, even if they take over A link, you can still create so much pressure. Sure, it's a 3v4, but you have to wonder if Jemkin hadn't taken that early damage, wouldn't this have gone a little differently? Maybe it would have gone down to a 1v1. But I do want to give props to Global Esports. I'm
Kebaca
pretty sure that
semua
they still had
gitu.
Crossfire set up. The post plants look a lot cleaner, and they seem to be a lot more aware of their options, right? You go for Blaze King getting
Ya,
knocked back
adaptasimu
after
gimana,
Benkai starts
Wok?
pushing into
Ngasih
the
tahu
site
itu.
because you see no Killjoy util. That tells me that Global Esports kept in mind
Kita
that,
lihat
okay,
chatnya
there still
gimana.
might be something on
Koban,
C,
Koban.
right? Just because the Killjoy util isn't outside of the entrance doesn't mean that it's entirely empty. They're not making any assumptions yet, and this is a much-needed timeout from RRQ.
Definitely. I mean, this is like great, steep improvements for Global Esports compared to the previous weeks. The fact that this is RRQ's map pick says a lot. Because RRQ, they play pretty darn well against Bleed on this one. But then now it's struggling against T1, back into it. They haven't quite made a lot of adjustments, especially against a team like Global Esports where maybe they don't have that much experience with. I mean, this new squad now, this new roster, you got Russ making the calls. And his nightfall from that previous run into the C-side, I think, was one of the things that
Ya
really
udahlah
confused
ente
RRQ.
kalau gitu Farisa.
Yeah, I mean, the kill on A plus a nightfall on C, that creates pressure, but then they even tag two, so
Ada
they say
dua
let's go
sih,
B, that's the
masih.
weaker spot right now. Overall, really
Terus
good
Nevin
calls.
kayak
I mean,
gitu
Russ has
gimana ceritanya sih,
absolutely
Bang?
been impressing me. I mean, sure, he has a decent reputation, but he's one of those players where I didn't expect much, right? Plus or minus is kind of a non-factor for me when the roster was announced. But I stand corrected. I mean, he's been fragging, he's been calling, he's been getting the reads. And now if that's new structure that they're working on with Benkai, be even more assistance, could be a huge change.
Coba
Could, but you know what's even better? It's going to be Elmi Moore. with the
serius
Sheriff.
dibaca
Pops out,
cowok
takes the shot,
sama
and gets
Podastin.
Russ. Just a little bit of a trade from Polvi. And Global Esports have to regroup.
Hey, Benkai being spotted, that alone already draws a lot of the attention away from A. I mean, this is big news for the rest of Global Esports. They could come to B, they could go to A. I mean, these jump peaks, it's getting nerd. Oh my gosh, they were being broken at the same time. I mean, this is just a different looking Global Esports. The timings are so much better.
Just everyone
Timingnya gila.
all across the board. RRQ, they're very lost and confused. We saw it. Jemkin turned around because he heard the door. He thought that it was clear to move back.
Kayak aku nanti di sini lagi, boleh.
2GE now, trying to take what he can get. We do have Flips, who retrieved a bit of a weapon. That might be opting to save that instead.
Yeah,
At least to
at
wrap
this
around the
point,
back for exits.
yeah, go for an exit or two, but if not, take away a free Vandal. That's the most you can hope for RRQ. It's looking rough, because here's the thing, RRQ, their default hasn't changed too much. Granted, defensive defaults, they are fairly standard.
Astaga, Ban.
I mean,
Ban.
Global Esports is way more tuned in today, and
Ban.
they looked pretty good against Talon at the beginning as well. Let's not forget that, right? Let's not write it off. That was a
Apa
match
itu,
a lot of
Ban?
people felt Global Esports should have won. So
Astaga,
whatever they're
Ban.
doing, whatever that mental coaching is doing for this team, it is working out.
I mean, it's everything. The mental coaching, the fact that the team has stuck together through thick and thin. I believe, Will, that you don't really win a fight without being tested. And this team has been tested. They are
Astaga,
I mean, Gen G last year got tested and then they fell apart. So
That's why they didn't win last year.
Yes, there's a
But
little bit of a
this year-
different limit testing going on.
That's what I'm talking about. Global Esports looking so much better in this opening map for today.
Yeah,
Colby with the showstopper now, wanting to clear out so much space around the C side. RQ are afraid. They have no choice but to turn back.
Yeah, Xfero spots him coming deep as well, so you have to know that he's here. He's actually in a spot too, so you have to be ready for it. And
mati.
Down.
Just focus on the aim, says Coach Spin, and he does exactly that. Elmi Moore, though, will be able to push up front.
Ayo, guys, ayo,
Russ
guys.
not quite marked.
Yeah.
Russ will be able to come back in. Find that a little bit of a trade. Xfero still marking the angle.
Langsung picknya sendiri-sendiri
Killjoy
anjing.
moves up front now. Benkai
Nice.
watching out from Waterfall. Just eliminating a couple more angles, and it's a little bit more doable for RRQ in this moment, but Flip's not quite being able to land the shot. Xfero swapped over onto the Vandal. Will be able to play off of his teammate's death.
Nice
and that's
banget,
going to be the
Pit.
defuse second
Nice
win
banget.
for RRQ.
I mean, Flips being wary of that flank from Benkai was everything, because otherwise that was
Nice
a 3v2.
banget.
The pinch was coming in, and it was going to be a tough timing for RRQ. So props to them, but lightning fast, sure, it's not as explosive as a match
Nice
so
banget,
far than some of his
Pit.
previous games. But what a
Mahargai
shot to kick off the
gila
showstopper.
itu.
Really
Mahargai.
helps delay this retake and force it all the way down to the wire. Meanwhile, I mean, RRQ, this was an important round to get that confidence back going, right? Know that you can fight these 2v3s. Know that you also can have the good crossfires, the good double peaks.
And that was off of the timeout as well. So looking a little bit better now. We need more rounds just like that one. They have 3 ultimates to work with, a lot of tools at their disposal. Xfero with the operator, like we mentioned.
Guna.
What is this? A shot through the toxic screen from Russ. Unfortunate for Jemkin.
I mean, it's so clear that Global Esports has studied a lot of the tape from RRQ, the tendencies to actually hide behind the enemy toxic screens, things like that. Make sure there's always a crossfire, but this paranoia is good. Sets up Elmi more.
And Flip's coming in to help out as well, but look at the re-peaks from Global Esports. B&B, Benkai, and Place King come in to eliminate no threats. It's going to be down to Xfero, but even the operator gets removed from his arms.
Listen, I don't even know about this season of Pacific anymore, man. Like, everyone's been saying, Global Esports, where's the firepower, where's the firepower? I've echoed that same sentiment. The reads are good, the execution isn't there. Well, apparently the firepower is there. They just needed a bit more mental coaching. I mean, I don't know.
Oke kali itu
Quite
dapat.
frankly, if you're RQ, did you expect to lose this crossfire with Elmi Moore bouncing off of Flips' aggro like that? No, normally they win that. But GE's just ready for it this time. They have much more focus. It's not about the flicks. It's not about any like crazy reflexes. It's just about having a better understanding of your opponent's tendencies.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, sometimes it's not really just about pure mechanical skill, but being
Nice.
mentally ready and prepared
Nice
for it.
bit.
Xfero
Nice
now
bit.
starting to focus in. Picks off one with the Sheriff and then falls back.
Oh, but GE reads this, right? Since the previous round, they had that op on Xfero. That's when the really heavy 1-4 starts to come out for RQ. Now, with Xfero solo pushing out a mound, they recognize, okay, that's the weak site. We can pressure that for now. You do this way before the 1-minute mark. You still have more than half of the round to work with.
Still, though, gonna have to be careful because you never quite know what RQ is capable of. They are working around a lot of these smokes still. Nightfall being sent out by Russ. Lightning Fast forced to run back because of a little bit of fire from some of these frenzies. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad of Global Esports have made a lot of headroom into A site. Look at Lightning Fast.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is the spike. Yeah, the spike isn't quite there just yet, and Xfero, gun's not out. Would have been a close one either case.
They don't really know that he's there. That could be a bit of a problem, Will.
Yeah, especially with the rifle picked up. And, I mean, you've got some other ultimates as well. RQ just has to hold on to time. The paint shells came in as well.
Oh, all right. Lightning Fast.
I love the pit.
Manages to evade it. The pit comes up, gives them a little bit more space to
through.
sneak around. Flip's able to pick up just the one. Still not quite enough.
Do you have the internal
Xfero
timing for the
with
flank? They do!
lockdown. Unfortunately, though, Polvi able to swing back. This is now Global Esports very aware of every movement from RRQ, even though Flips has the Viper's Pit and he's trying to sneak around you. Picks up the Vandal, but unfortunately it's a bit of a crossfire and two players stare right down your barrel.
I love that they're aware of this. And one of the things that might have given it away is the timing of the pit. The pit comes out. Where's the lockdown? If you're going to invest that much on an eco, surely the lockdown's coming from somewhere. So at that point, you don't see the killjoy anywhere. You see people starting to flood in. You're thinking something's not right. As soon as you hear the lockdown, Polvi turns around, he's ready for the shot. He's just focused in. And maybe that's all they were missing this entire time.
Excellent point, Will. I mean, just the awareness from not just Polvi, I guess. I mean, he might have been the one to turn around, but I have to imagine there are a lot of communications going on throughout the entire team. They can keep this map a quick one. It's going to be very troublesome for RQ into the next.
Sumpah lagi nggak nembak. Sumpah lagi nggak nembak.
See, now that you've done a couple
Ya, nongol
rounds,
dikit yo.
now
Nongol dikit yo.
slow default. Yeah, see
Bolu,
the push
pick
comes
yo.
out. Why? Because Rubble hasn't worked out for RQ. Mountain hasn't worked out
pick yo.
for RQ. So there's a good chance. And even if they don't come out, you know, you only spend 20 seconds, you're still able to work the rest of the round. So Global Esports, the attacking looks a lot more convincing. Obviously, still a long way to go here on Lotus. Holy!
So even though Pillar might not quite have worked out at the start of the round, xffero still sharp as ever, posted up front with the operator. Falls back now just to relay. The rest of Global Esports don't want to head back into the inside, right, Will?
Yeah, I mean, usually that op is solo, but now with this timing, you're expecting there's at least going to be some backup coming forward. So I like digging into the B site. That's usually going to be the weakest. You'll worry about the post plan afterwards. You're going to push them out with the lockdown. Now, how far deeper do they go? And is there a lurk?
Yang 4 lawan 4 masih bisa lah.
Might just stick around, play around baby door.
Masih 2
Let
beli
that
ini.
lockdown cook a little. Check with the Prowler. Spike gets down. RRQ wants to retake, but they're only taking it from Waterfall and Heaven area. Link. The Prowler goes in to check. They start to swing out. xffero fires off the shot.
Nice.
2GE now chiming in.
Nice. 3 lawan 2.
Global Esports still managing to hold. Lightning fast, trying to lurk and peek out. Oh, there's a bit of a check from xffero, but he gets burned by the Nanoswarm. 2G finds his own up against
Mantap banget.
Benkai as well, and that's going to be the round for RRQ.
Yeah, flips.
Mantap kali,
Really even going
Bang.
deep into the
Sumpah.
fight, just tying someone up at B main, keeping
Makin
them
rame di
tied to
sini.
that revolving door. That was huge. That
Rame
allows the
apa
rest of
emang?
the team to really focus on just peeking one at a time, bouncing that aggro back and forth to make sure they can clear each corner of that B site. Overall, that also ruined Lightning Fast's options of do I go for a
Lainnya,
deeper lurk or not, because he had to refill the site immediately, and they're ready for
Di
it. They're aware of
terobos
that
sama
possibility.
dulu. Gila.
Very strong fundamentals. I mean, that's what the desk was talking about. That's what we're all talking about. RRQ, they've always been building up on this. They've always
Ya,
been
jam
working
kin
on
nyala
this.
yuk.
We don't want to
Jam
go
kin.
too crazy.
Jam
But as
kin
long as we
nyala,
have
jam
clean
kin.
protocols and how we want to retake, you know, peeking off of one another, checking to make sure that there's no sneaky lurk coming out from Lightning Fast, they'll be able to do much better. 3-7 right now. If they can make it a 5-7, that would not be too bad.
Oh, they know. They saw the door was broken. They're ready for this. xffero, if you repeat this, it's going to spell a little bit of danger, in my opinion. But the timing!
Just a little bit of movement and accuracy comes back in for the repeat, but Blaze King is ready. At the same time, look at Benkai, Will.
Now, RQ has a read on this, though, right? They realize, okay,
Ya,
it's a
jam
slow
kin
flip
yuk.
up.
Jam kin
Now
yuk.
that Baby Door's
Dapat
already
yuk.
broken, a high chance of that pinch on to B. So Jemkin's just going to hold on to this. You can tell RQ, they've already ditched C-side. If it goes there, it's going to be a retake.
Aduh kan nggak sabaran lagi.
Lose your head too early. Setting up for that retake now. Paint shells, trying to hold them back. The team trying to push back up front. But at the same time, Blazing on this big lurk. Very, very troublesome. RRQ trying to be aware of every little trap, every little trick in Global Esports' book.
Ayo Ban.
Now he's been spotted.
Now he's
Epak
been spotted,
ban.
but now you recognize that
Epak ban.
there's two people you can't get out.
The rest of the team has arrived though, so a bit of a trade from Lightning Fast. Now Elmi Moore trying to hold the off angle. He's managing to get
Oh,
the
nice.
spray down. A bit
Nice
of a
guy.
double. Lightning Fast fights back with a classic. Back to a 2-on-2, but 10 seconds remaining. They've got to go in fast. Spike now getting planted. Jemkin right up on top.
Nice.
Spots the angle.
Nice.
Catches
Dua
Lightning
lawan
Fast
satu.
on the swing. Benkai has
2 lawan
to do it all.
1.
2v1. You just go for
Ben.
the foot double.
Nice.
Jemkin gets the last kill. And you know what? RQ
Yuk,
looks
5
like they
yuk,
want to
5 yuk.
stabilize in
Bisa
this
yuk.
first half. A 5-7 scoreline,
Ayo,
not
5
bad
yuk.
at all on that defensive side.
That's a great way to kick things off. 2G retrieving the operator as well for xffero.
Ayo 5 yuk, 5 yuk.
Jemkin now 1 point away from the showstopper. I mean, RRQ being very aware of it and just some
Oh,
good
mantap.
shots coming out from Elmi Moore.
Yeah, honestly, he was actually, I think, going for the spray down against Lightning Fast. And he saw
Okay,
the
rame
open
di
close,
sini.
but does get
Ayo
the
dapat 5
stabilization
yuk.
on that
1
spray,
lagi yuk.
gets the spray control, gets the long
1
range
lagi yuk.
headshot through the box.
1 lagi yuk.
Still have to keep that
Ayo
operator.
1 lagi
Still no
yuk.
armor on xffero, but you know what? He's living life on the edge. He says one shot is all it takes.
Ayo 1 lagi yuk.
By all means, though, I mean, Global Esports had the right ideas again. They were very aware of his positioning. So coming back into it, just needing to try to perhaps play around the map a little. We're just investing the showstopper really early on, though.
Yeah, a bit of a miss on that blast pack, slows it down, and there's some
Oh, nice.
shadows back up as well. I mean,
Whoa.
this side is all
Ooh,
flooded, and
nice.
it's defended by Elmi Moore.
7 5 7 yuk, 5 7
You're
yuk.
just watching everything. Now swinging up against the
Nice.
guy who is completely completely overwhelmed. The showstopper as well. RRQ
Nice, 57, nice.
claims their 5th win.
Yo, biasaan GE. GE
So
choking.
RQ, they don't
GE
challenge double
choking, yo.
push at all
GE
in
choking.
that last round of the half. Then they
GE
go for
choking,
double
yo.
push out of
Bisa, yo.
C, but they
GE
can do
choking.
that because the Omen still has from the shadow. So then
Wait,
you're
come on,
originally
man.
they're thinking, okay, if we get no contact, we plant the operator far forward, and then from the shadows is still available. But you hear the showstopper, immediately you launch it, and then Povey not able to get the second blast pack right away really slows things down. Everyone on the side of RQ, their crosshairs just have to be trained forward, and they're able to get to a scoreline that they don't mind after that rough 5-1 scoreline start.
Very, very much favorable. As RQ now swaps on over to the attack, where they perhaps might be able to dictate the pace a little bit better. So what I would want to see from Global Esports is some more active moments on their defensive side. Because what we've seen so far, RQ just very much so reacting to it, but then towards the end, they started to get some good reads onto how Global Esports moves.
For sure. I would love to see Global Esports get just as proactive, if not more, on this defensive side as well. Xfero's oftentimes left on an island for that lurk, for that information in between B and A main. So if you're able to target him, if you're able to take him out fast, or at least push him out of his comfort zone, that's going to be good news. But let's say, you know, an operator comes out, an outlaw comes out, something like that. We've seen Xfero's shots. He could be racking up the frags on the scoreboard real quick.
So still both teams needing to find these rounds, and it all starts once again with the pistol.
Oh, okay. So toxic screen for B and C, just ditching rubble control entirely. You're just looking to fight this from the get-go. You want to flood it, you want to fill it, and just hold on to it. That's the plan from Global
Makin banyak orang jiwa-jiwa ingin nyendiri rebat di kamar ini meronta-ronta.
Russ tossing in for info.
Jangan aneh-aneh, pernyataanmu itu bisa bikin multitafsir itu, Barisa.
Look at the movements. Actually, RRQ coming in to take down Pillar.
It's going to be that quick clear. Doesn't get tagged, so they might think that this is empty, but surely they're just vying for information on the util.
Triple peek?
But flips, he hears the footsteps, he's looking for one. No! He gets distracted by too much noise, and now you know that there's multiple people. You have to go see, but there's, I mean, everything's set up here. Killjoy and Viper.
Really quick. Benkai, very aware of this, just backs up completely. They know they have the numbers advantage, so trying to set up for the retake perhaps instead. Dark cover just to block out the exits, waiting for the spike plant.
They're waiting for that lurk as well. They know that the only thing that RQ can do is go for that lurk.
Ingin dari sesuatu yang multitafsir itu bagus.
Picks up a quick double. 2GE now tries to take him down. Russ goes back in for the trade. Xfero now. The lurk taking a little bit far too long. The whole trio of Global Esports peeks out at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rough spot for RQ, right? You try to rush into C, you realize everything's set up there, and you know, okay, backup's probably a ride, we gotta go for the lurk. But since you know you can't wait, you're trying to push even deeper, trying to pinch them into Waterfall. Overall, I mean, listen, you're making deal with what you got, but they just don't clear the corner fast enough, and Benkai's able to get a crucial double kill. And after that, it's like, oh yeah, remember, we were still waiting for Xfero? That lurk comes in just in time.
Fantastic, and this is a Global Esports that has both pistols on this map. Tremendous improvement, exactly.
He's winning pistols again. DRX is back on top. I mean, APAC is healing, Pacific is healing.
All it took was just a bit of time off, I suppose, from kickoff.
All it took was Benji Fishy yelling at Monyet, and then everything corrected itself, okay?
And also just a lot of, you know, talking to coaches and paper outside of lifts. But anyway, Poison climbs back up on top now, and Global Esports firing some blank shots, able to take down 2G.
Tolong banyak bayi, jual perdagangan manusia.
Drawn out, still one in the chamber though.
It's just tough. RQ just wanting to continue to dive through this, but even Timmy the turret gets a little kill.
Yeah. I mean, it's an eco. You knew that you had already kind of hedged your bets here after you saw that first snake bite come in, so they're just trying to use the turret as a shield to cross in, cause some chaos since you didn't see the early stack on Killjoy utility. But you'll have to let that round go. Now with the half armors, what can they do? Thankfully, no outlaw on the other side of Global Esports. Haven't seen that come out just yet on this map.
Not quite. They do have a Guardian, though. The main thing so far is just the fact that Global Esports have been making these rounds pretty darn flawless. RQ without any clear plans as to how they might be able to take advantage of the little rounds they get. There's a pretty big round deficit right now.
Yeah, look at the setup from Global Esports on the C side, right? If you are to go in there without the paint shells, I mean, you're going to be taking a lot of damage, and also you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Oh, big clear.
Actually going through the door. Benkai tries to peek out, but has to be careful. He does not have the range with the Spectre.
Okay, so you just got a kill onto B. You've told them that you're trying to pressure the middle of the map. I would love to see RQ try to get a reaction out of the A side as well. Just something else to see what the reactionary movement was from Global Esports.
Flips is trying to watch for that angle. Baited out a bit of a smoke from lightning fast.
Yeah, but I love that they push into this because you know that Omen was far out. He wasn't by rubble, he was already on his way back and out. So you gotta imagine that this one way is just to buy time. It's a good clear with the Prowler as well.
What RQ has to watch out for now, though, is also the little door.
Yeah, it's a setup here. It could be a trap setup for Blaze King, and they don't like what they're sniffing. They're just drawing attention. They know what they've done to Global Esports. They know they put the pressure down.
Rotations.
Yeah, the nanoswarms, that's my big concern. Yeah, I mean, you have your paint shells. RQ, they generally have thrown it far in whenever they've needed to. But it goes a little too far deep. He gets right into the first set. 15 seconds left.
That's going to take a little bit off the clock. Benkai trying to stall as long as he possibly can, but unfortunately not quite enough.
Big kill from 2GE. As soon as you hear that turret, ready for it, doesn't want to stop the plant.
Great TP up on top. Couple of wall banks trying to go through, but unfortunately...
Just
slices aim all to the left.
Ya,
I mean, he doesn't know
penyesalan itu emang datang terakhir sih.
second as well. That's the Guardian for you.
That's how he checks. Okay. RQ, though, still relatively healthy. They've got 4 guns in this fight. Dark Carver sets up, and 2G stays completely shrouded and high and back. Blaze King continuing to try to fire through, but unfortunately the timer is ticking and he's running out of time. It's gonna be RQ walking away. Pros don't look at the explosions. We've got this round.
Yeah, everyone gets out safely as well, like you said. Blaze King just gonna die to the spike without in his hand. Going to get that third round of the second half, their first buy round, and not too much damage in terms of weaponry. Obviously, everyone losing their armor, etc. It's friends that they'll have to reinvest.
Para Vol dipanggil tanda, Vol.
I mean, this is a really tricky round.
Vol, pelanggaran itu Barista dipanggil tanda, gimana itu?
RQ taking quite a bit of time
Bang
to clear out
Barista.
everything sometimes, and it comes down to the last 30 seconds. We
Boleh.
were very worried that those nanoswarms might not allow them to get the spike down.
Yeah, I mean, the paint show is clearing at least the deeper one. That was a deal breaker, in my opinion. And now seeing if there's an adjustment from GE, see if there's a trap set up on C. They're going for the fast push, and look at the map. Xpero and Flips are waiting for the counter push out. If GE has been studying the tape, surely a stack push comes out, and Flips is ready for it. As long as he lives,
Wow.
RQ, their plan is working. I think he's been heard, though, in B main as well by Pillars.
Mampus dipanggil bangga
Not too
tuh.
bad. So even though he has made
Balik
his
lagi.
position known,
So here's the unfortunate part, right? If
Andian.
during that chaos, RQ was able to actually
Di
check
reverse
the
Uno.
forward alarm bot,
Di Uno
this would be
reverse
the perfect round.
sama
But
Volpin.
since they haven't quite cleared that, Global Esports is able to reset their default. You can see on the minimap, you see Russ rejoining towards the A side. They still haven't pushed the alarm bot. They're nowhere near C right now.
RQ, oh, they're just going in for a bit of a gamble now into the A site because of that fact, Will.
Oh
Still
mantap,
though
naik.
winning on some of these firefights
But B
because
is clear.
Looking good,
Lightning Fast
looking
doesn't
good.
have the paranoia any longer.
Nice.
So
Guy.
B is clear. They will be able to
Nice.
transition over,
Nice
get the
bit.
spike down.
Nice.
Xpero with the timing will be able to catch a lot of these players. Benkai, the first to fall. Next
Nice.
is going to be
Udah.
Russ.
Yuk, round by round. Mereka saving itu.
Yuk,
round by round. Yuk, round by round. Mereka saving ini.
And off of that kill, during
Yang
all
beli
that, you
cuma
still leave
Volpi.
your options
Yuk,
open. Whenever
round
you
by
watch
round.
Lotus, the teams that are able to get enough of the rounds in attack are always going to be the ones that always leave one more chance open, right? It's, can you make one more rotation? You know,
Itu
if we're
suara
going to
makanannya
A in the
renyah
last 40
banget.
seconds, do we have
Ya,
it cleared
amplang,
when
Vol.
it comes to the 20-second mark? Things like that.
Nggak
We
ada
do
ya
have the
cemilan
signal
lagi
door
yang
cleared
ngasih.
by the 20-second
Bosen
mark.
sama
GE
makanan
was doing a
manis.
decent amount of that as well in the first half, but RQ answering back right in form.
kedengeran banget ya.
That's another
Aduh.
thing. GE sometimes getting the right calls, right ideas, right reads. This time, just marking out some of these spots. Benkai will be able to start things off with a Marshall shot. Now smoked off though. Gonna have to run back around.
Sekalian ASMR ternyata.
Arriving.
Sekali dayung kan.
Oh,
Nice. Nice.
jeez. I mean, no one was covering.
Ya, ya, round by round.
He'll cover
Round
himself.
by round.
They have all
Cek perut lagi ntar. Ini aku belum makan dari tadi
At the
pagi.
same time, you got Xfer on a bit of alert just in case someone does.
Dari kemarin malam malah belum makan.
This time it's not quite happening just yet. Jemkin marking stairs. A bit of a skewer for 2 headshots. And RQ looking to tie things up.
And that's huge. That's a huge double kill because that catches Jemkin right up on the out cycle as well. So lockdown and showstopper both 2 points away, which makes that nightfall investment against the opponent's weak round quite worth it. Just fast reactions from Elmimore.
Stop nyemil.
Seems like RQ also perhaps needing a little bit of that warm up coming in.
Ya udah,
Now firing
bakal
back, and
stop
that's gonna
nyemil
draw
aku
out
kalau
that
gitu.
timeout from GE. They've been feeling okay so far. I like this timing. They still have the lead, but now you're starting to see that RQ has the entire initiative, right? They go for a very slow round previously, they go for the final rotates, and then now they just go for that rush with the nightfall all the way through A, regardless of weaponry on the other side.
And this is what I mean by
Bentar, ada
RQ
tamu.
gets to dictate pace on this attacking side of the map.
We'll see what the adjustment is here from GE. Now, if you're RQ, I think you maybe check for a trap play on C again, right? Is it a fast push out of C, or could it be the trap from the revolving door with the paranoia? That's something that we still haven't seen, trap play or push out from C. Neither has really happened from GE. So if you're imagining a big change, that's something that RQ has to be ready for.
Quite sure if it's going to be a trap play exactly just yet. It's
the op.
the op on Polvi.
Yeah, it's not. They're not going to send the showstopper, but I think RQ probably waiting for the showstopper. Yeah, looking at their positions, they're waiting for a crossfire. They're not going to quite see it just yet.
Oh, and Blaze King with the Odin as well. Trying to play off of a little bit of time. RQ at the very least pretty darn aware of it, tossing out the haunt just to check.
And this fast push into rubble, this is important for RQ because you're wondering, why are you trying to deny us so much rubble control with the Odin, right? Why this round? Why wouldn't we see that someone clears the on right away and he just lands it on Flips? Flips
Just walked into...
I think Flips heard the reload, so he thought he had time to creep all the way around, but Blaze King just fires right back.
at that exact spot. Very unlucky timing.
Yeah, the fake on the reload again. Finishes it off, 100 rounds still to go.
It's the last belt as well, so now he's going to be a little bit more careful of it. Oh, makes use of Russ's haunt. Goes in for the clear wallbang shot. The ping missed. It's going to be down to Xfero, 5 HP. His team's completely gone.
And so is Xfero. I mean, a clean round. I mean, this all falls apart when Flips dies, right? And you can't blame him, but you can absolutely give credit to Blaze King. Whenever you see, listen, people say that the Odins get lucky, but the real Odin users, they really play with your mind, right? They make you think that they're done spamming. Exactly. They make you think that you're only spamming one angle.
And then they swap to another angle.
Yeah, they keep it going. They have their own system, man.
It's a play of positioning is what it is. And I think, you know, it's not just the Odin as well.
Oh, little Odin ceremony. We haven't seen that. Okay, I like it.
It's also the fact that, you know, there was that threat of the showstopper. There was a little bit of movement, the smoke out from Lightning Fast. A bit of pressure just to funnel RQ into that A site. So game plan starting to work out a little bit for GE.
GE, do they read this? They do. They recognize that the smoke's a little too deep on B. And they think that it might be a trap onto C mount. It's a good reaction. And the Colby's good.
Great opener, the Dragon Roars. RQ's gonna have to recalibrate their strategies. Elmore continuing to go in by himself though, and he's got the spike. I'm a little bit nervous, Will. All right, now he's aware.
Well, all right. Spike given over. No one quite in range to hear that drop just yet. Elmimore.
Oh, the
barrel.
barrel.
His barrel shows and he has no idea. Oh,
Slight whiff with the flick, but not too bad. But because of all of this, Elmimore calls that the side is clear. Spike goes down.
and the lockdown at the ready as well. Now Showstopper on the other side, so RQ, they have to still stop this way early. Whoa! Oh my gosh, right as the paranoia hits, it's a good reaction.
Goes back in for a little bit more, just a little bit of greed, and it's not too good. Showstopper comes out from Polvi, and
shut down after the alarm bot from 2GE.
So quick.
Perched up on top of that box once again, so Blaze King, he's wary of it. They're trying to clear him out, but they're all hiding right around that smoke and the pillar.
He's got to be very careful with his movements. Does it not have the mobility with that Odin? Swaps over onto the Vandal now, so being able to push in along with the squad, but he doesn't even need it. Russ tries to stick the defuse. The timer is still ticking away, and Flitz is trying to play along with the time. The snake bite lands. So even though Blaze King drops Global Esports, it's going to be RQ with the clutch round.
Man, I'm actually surprised. I want to give a lot of credit to Global Esports there, because by popping the Nano Swarm early while the smoke was still up, RQ was trying to fake out that they were all outside on Mound, right? It's a Mound plant. Hey, we've already left it empty after we got that kill on the Showstopper. Don't worry about the site. It was kind of a trap play setup, and Blaze King still checks for it. After he gets the first kill into 2G, they're still wary of Xpharaoh. I mean, really, really heads up. But at the end of the day, the post-plant utility, I mean, the timing, the lockdown had been used as well.
Halo,
So
pakai payung atau
catch
jas
up one
hujan.
round again.
Iya, kedengaran mau pulang tapi hujan. Pakai payung atau jas hujan, benar sih.
We heard Coach Ewok talk about it during the timeout episode. You know, 2GE's always there, you know, waiting for the chance. He knows how hard it can be to be that sixth man.
And he always stays ready as well. So very, very comfortable adjustments from RRQ. They are still keeping this match relatively competitive. Benkai now this time the one with the Odin. The Nightfall getting sent out. Still catching RRQ.
Yang kecuali Gagai
To
lagi.
make it past the A site.
Oh, this had to have been a mini-map breed, though, as well, right? From that Nightfall, somehow is able to
Kecil
get
sih.
that
Kecil
absolute
nggak
shot
bisa udah
through.
dijaga Polvi.
I think there was a ping on the map for him as well. So now back into the same spot. Paranoia just to flush him back. Hops over just in time. Blaze King holding Baby Door at the ready. So many
Bani
angles being marked
Bani
and covered by
astaga
Global
ban.
Esports. I don't know how
Lu ada
RRQ can make it
ulti.
through this.
PT Batman payung ketinggalan di rumah, naik motor nggak ada yang ngantar.
Global Esports is fairly
Naik
aware of
sepeda.
this because of the control they have across the entire map.
Astaga.
I mean, look at his position. He hasn't moved an inch. Mound is absolutely shut off.
Keringan
Tree
semua
is
gitu
absolutely shut
ngepiknya.
off. You know that they're still trapped in between B and A.
This is truly just the domain expansion of Global
Udah
Esports right now. They are trapping them inside
di-trap.
their realm. RRQ do not have any routes. Slowly finding back in that lead. And this is all after Coach Spin's timeout in round 18 as well.
Yeah, it's just a cold hard save, right? Doesn't matter about the creds or not. The chances just too far against us. RQ making
Naik sepeda hujan, aku lupa pakai celana panjang. Ya udah, nggak usah celana telanjang, kesel kali aku tengoknya.
But they're gonna have to figure out something else here.
Enggak, kamu aja yang ribet.
This Odin, they've got to find, they've got to find an answer for this Odin.
Ya, ini
Just
harus.
creeping in. Yeah, I mean, it can work. Sure, you could consider and say, you know, I misread the timing. But the thing is if you're going to creep in, either, you know, just holding rubble or making sure that there's some other utility to draw it out. Maybe opening the door first to make sure that he has to shoot the switch, something like that. And then just checking that also check, is the Odin still there?
Creeping in does feel a little bit too risky for my liking right now, Will.
Kamu yang
What else
ribet
are you
itu,
gonna do,
Karisa.
though, right? I mean, the utility. Into tree? You can't clear that with the Odin spamming the entire time. If you have to get up to the switch first, and if they're going to be constantly checking, you got to do something else. You got to do something else. I mean, yeah, if you get to the switch, sure, I'm all for it, right? Send the Prowler and things like that.
Sama aku bakal
They're
jadi.
expending utility first to get into rumble.
Ya udah deh,
Right?
itu
It's just this
pikirannya
chicken
gitu.
and the egg question to catch
Kenapa
22
pikiranku
for
ya?
RQ.
Pikiranku malah nggak gitu.
Sometimes contact is the answer. But right now it's going to be a heavier
Bisa
push. They
kagak
wanna
beri ke
basically draw
normal.
out a little bit
Ya
of attention
kamu,
elsewhere.
gua udah bikin normal itu. Ya
See
kamu
if
aja
they
yang
can
begitu,
then
yang
pressure
ribet.
onto A site.
We'll see
Nyebelin
if
kau.
it's
Kan itu emang
It's really, really
om-om.
tough. We've got Polvi, Russ, Lightning Fast back in for C Mount.
Ya udah, kau dulu yang bilang begitu, ya udah aku gituin balik kamu.
They definitely hear that Odin as well.
So you're hearing the Odin just a fast hit.
Oh,
Mm.
it's a B.
Oh, that's a huge kill.
Jemkin
Nice.
with a big dive.
Nice.
Igor as well. I mean, they're ready for this door
Yo,
opening as
ulti,
well.
yo,
And this
ulti,
shuts
yo,
down a lot
ulti,
of the
ulti,
options that
ulti,
GE
Bani.
had.
Bani ulti.
Unbelievable.
Bani
Great
ulti.
adjustments coming in from RQ right now.
Bani
They already
ulti
have the
sih.
site. Nightfall even
Oh nggak
invested.
sih, buat next
Just
aja.
to
Boleh.
further
Udah dapat
Global
spot.
Esports back. Benkai now slowly rethinking his options.
I
Do
mean,
I really want to approach Heaven?
No, I think you save if you're GE, right? Because here's the thing. I mean, the chances right now, no matter how
Udah
easy
save,
this site
save.
is to retake, with the
Udah
Op and
save.
the Odin as well, and the positions you've already
Udah
given over
saving.
with the Nightfall, the chances are too
Saving-
slim.
saving
You don't
nggak
want to
mungkin, nggak
potentially
bisa.
give, let's say, Xfer a triple kill, let him maybe get close back.
Tapi bisa
Close
di-try
lockdown
sih
angle
sebenarnya.
before the half ends. So while you have the lead, you got kind of a gimme in that previous round after the initial kills. You give one back to RIQ, you reset.
Kan emang dari dulu nyebelin Barca,
Question
gimana
is,
sih?
how will Global Esports come back into this next round now? Be
Ayo
showing some
please,
slightly weaker
yuk
spots.
dua langsung
For
berturut-turut
the
ya.
longest time now, Blaze
Tiga,
set
tiga,
up his
tiga
top
langsung,
16
yuk.
from B to A, sometimes B to C. Is he gonna have
Wah,
some more
make it fast,
reinforcements on the side
make it
this time?
fast. Boom.
We'll have to see as Jemkin. I mean, that was a sick
Nice.
shot. So was
Nice
Igor as well,
guy.
but flying in and getting that pick onto Heaven, definitely a bit of a prediction.
Guess just leaving Russ in for B.
Nice
maybe see him for
guy.
a bit of a retake.
Udah
I
jangan
thought
kalah.
maybe it was going to be a heavier stack onto B and C, go for a full retake onto A, but this time it's forward positioning on the Killjoy util.
Udah mending ke C.
And this is a lot of setup for Blaze King, right? You're thinking,
Yes.
okay, Odin's here again, no biggie. The door
I
is
don't
open.
know, though.
Oh, the
This
door.
is a spot that Elmimore is very comfortable with, so he flushes
Nice.
out the Prowler.
Ah,
The shot from Holy and Rust fire back though.
It's multi-layered. It's not just one guy. GE, they don't play simple Valorant.
Ooh. Sidestep with the Prowler out. Now
Aduh,
swing,
Pit.
huge
Astaga.
movement. Oh, Xferro
Mantap,
can't quite
Pit.
catch up. Down to the last
Pit.
two.
Oh, and you saw one as well on C-Mount.
Very potentially map point for Global Esports now. 2GE wanting to take matters into his own hands, but dropping the Colby. It's all down to the IGL flips.
Tidak.
Yeah, and while you have the pit, you've got
Tidak.
that lockdown, you got an Odin on the other side. It's a tough choice to make. But at the end of the day, I mean, do you really want to give up that map point?
Tidak.
I mean,
Udah
I'm
jangan
not
ke
going to blame him if he sends it, right? It looks not
hanya
impossible
itu
either way.
sulit.
But if you have some mind games with it,
Best thing that he can do, right? I mean, plant the spike, maybe play around tree,
Please jangan
but then
ulti, please.
you gotta be prepared for
Simpan
this
aja, Bang.
entire squad. I don't think you want to
Nice.
invest
I mean,
my first bit yet, but
yeah,
maybe now.
Yeah, lockdown's gone, Odin's gone. Sure, Odin gets picked up, but no lockdown.
Welcome to my world. Benkai's. No, it's Polby who's firing.
Oh,
Oh, no, he walks into it. He
The
walks
bait in.
into it.
I mean, this is just well played by GE, right? So he thinks the Odin spamming this angle, I can do a
like
quick
this.
shoulder peek. I like the idea because what you're thinking is with the Odin
but-
spamming, the other guy's probably going to try to hold the defuse. So
Yeah.
Flips, that's his process of elimination, but GE's one step ahead. They say, I'll spam it, you creep in, because he can't hold this close angle if I'm spamming.
Exactly one of those, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't moments. It's just, I can feel the frustrations.
Itu
from Flips' side.
David.
So, unfortunately, even with all his best efforts, the Viper's Pit, the incredible shot up to heaven, it's going to be map point for Global Esports.
Yeah, look at the way he was holding that too. I think Flips kind of misread that angle. I thought he thought maybe he was shooting straight into the into trade, but Hovey was already holding it at an angle, cutting that corner. So all in all, well played by GE. A little bit of panic from Flips as well.
Good effort, though.
Tidak.
Nonetheless, this is now an opportunity for Global Esports to
Mending
steal
ke
this map
TOC-nya
win
di
away.
3 orang.
This was RRQ's map pick. They don't do well on this. We're going next to Global Esports' comfort pick on Icebox.
Yeah, we can talk about
Tidak.
Icebox when we get there, but compositionally, I think you have to favor
Tidak.
GE just a slight bit. So we'll see if RRQ can take this to OT. They've never held the lead in this map.
Full set play to C. Just sending it down. Lightning fast,
So,
able to do a bit of damage. Elmimore trades right back.
Jemkin's still
Jemkin's
in.
already inside. Bit of shrouded step from 2GE, but he's done it one too many times. Russ is aware. Jemkin trying to get the timing on the swing, waiting for his teammates to arrive at the same time. But Blaze King now sets up the Viper's Pit. He can no longer push up front. Russ peeks out at the right time as Jenkins tries to fall back. That's going to be the third kill for Russ. Elmore now. The brand against the world, and he's going to have to fight his way out of this entire squad.
I mean, you got 5 seconds to kill all these guys.
It's the crouch. Russ with the quad kill to close out the map. Global Esports, what an improvement.
I mean, listen, they've taken maps before, and they've looked better and better each time they've taken a map.
Nice maps. Ya, GG sih. Tidak. Tidak. Bentar. Halo, I'm back. I'm back. Gak mau ngapain gua mabar MPL, gua nggak itu MPL kok. Gua nggak main Mobile Legends, ngapain gua mabar MPL?
I don't want to count it out entirely just yet.
Who knows?
I mean,
Nggak.
yeah, exactly. Who knows, right? But we will find out as we head into Icebox. We're about to get into Agent Select
No.
right now. Are we expecting any big changes, you think? I mean, GE mentioned the restructuring. Does this mean also a brand new agent composition despite them performing very well?
Probably not. I think it's just more refining the tools that was already available for them. It's more of like how they approach things rather than changing up what they do. And I'm about to get slapped. No, it's the same thing.
No. It's
Yeah, okay.
You're good.
Okay, but one of the things I do want to add here, though, is I felt like when I was watching the RRQ match up against Team Secret, didn't really have too many huge lurks and such, not a lot of big mid controls, I'd say, compared to global esports that we saw Polby, we saw Benkai really wanting to challenge control in spaces such as Kitchen. So that's definitely something to watch out for here.
Lightning Fast does it too. He goes under tube a lot to get some of those frags, those big impact frags onto the B side on retakes and stuff like that. So yeah, this is going to be tough. I mean, RQ's going to have to really dig deep here, really come up with a good game plan. Because when you're playing that Gecko, sometimes you get so tunneled in on those executes. And those
Beda banyak.
No, I don't know. GE are feeling good. You can see Blaze King over there waving, blowing some affectionate kisses over there to his friends over on RRQ. We're gonna see though, can GE close this out? Can RRQ bounce back? Big questions over here as we toss it on back to William and Quack.
That's right. Thank you very much, Miko,
Yeah,
Paperthin,
udah.
and Asteroid. This is the Global Esports that is still looking for their first win. Very close to it right now, but you never quite know. I think Paperthin has a good point because Flips did get 0 kills on this map last week, Will.
Yeah, that's true. Can he make the same magic happen again today? It will require Elmimore to also get 30 kills. We should remember that. So we'll see if it happens. But I love what the Jess pointed out about map control overall. GE seems to be very fluid on this icebox. Sure, RQ, they've been comfortable to pick it, but also compositionally. That Sage creates a lot of problems for these util dump type compositions. You know, it's not as hard as the KO Gecko here for RQ. It's the Silva, but it's still going to be a lot of front-loaded util. So curious to see what
Agak beda ini pemainnya.
That's right. They got to watch out for that Sage, especially with how flowy Lightning Fast can get on it sometimes.
Look, already mid-control. Right off the bat on the pistol here from Benkai. He's watching Tube. He gets through past the turret. So now RRQ, because of that Poison Cloud, they have to have someone kitchen to make sure they don't get caught off guard.
Pensex Pharaoh marking that area, but at the same time, we're worried about Jemkin for the time being, playing up around yellow.
Nice.
So he's trying to reposition
Okay,
around.
at least nggak 0 kill itu, Bani.
Point of contact, Rush no longer able to find that space into A site. Oh,
he
spotted
sees one.
missile.
Nah,
Not
kabur.
But I love the back out from Jemkin, right? Just wait for support. You've got a
There we
4v5 or 5v4.
Yeah, not expanding the dash just yet either. Now he goes in for it because he's looking for the clear headshot, but Benkai strikes when the iron is hot. Look at this, Global Esports flooding the site now. 2GE will be able to fight back with his classic. Benkai repositioning up back onto his top. Polby, yes, is the one who is sneaking up behind yellow. Jemkin still has a lot of work cut out for him, and only 6 rounds in the chamber. It's going to be tough for him because he doesn't quite know that positioning.
Really good patience from Benkai, right? Despite being down in numbers, Benkai is just going to
Picknya-
wait until the plan happens. It's a pistol
Picknya
round,
gimana?
Sage. You know that you can
Apa
force the
turret?
plant. Kobe even going up the rope just to make sure he gets a little bit of early info as the plant goes down. And Benkai just waits for the opportune moment once he hears them trying to spam against the wall. So while, you know, RQ had good info and they had good reactions to it, at the end of the day, it's that mid control. And this is not something we say every day for Icebox. It's not a map where mid is used all too often, but the fact that you're even able to create that pressure in the pistol, look at already what it does on the eco. RQ now has to make sure that they're checking early on down that tube.
Even if you are just kind of lurking up around that area. But a delayed push, delayed peek works out so well. It is still just a pistol, but I am pretty excited because Global Esports could come up with a big
Nice,
win. What
nice,
happened?
nice, Bun. Nice.
Elmimore, the classics! It's happening again!
You know,
Nice,
I just
nice,
wanna
nice.
let the devs know,
Nice,
if you
nice
thought
one.
GE was gonna look just as strong and buy more guns off it, of course it's gonna be RQ with more pistol kills. It's not even the sheriffs, it's just all
Nice.
a flawless thrifty win? Are you kidding me? With classics. I mean, normally RQ does this with sheriffs. Holy.
And it just happens because they were playing some of these close-range positions, close-range tools, the wide swing.
Bunny sih anjing gila.
They weren't ready for it, Will.
I mean, hey, market your stuff, man. You got the opportunity. He knows that we're gonna pick out that audio clip.
All right, Flips no longer 0 kills on this map. Here we go. Global Esports now off of such a loss.
Huh?
Just kind of dazed and stunned, having to recalibrate, re-engage. He's got the pistols. Blaze King will do a bit of damage to him. Oh. One Bulldog gone, a second rifle gone. What is going on?
Could be.
We've seen this happen a lot, especially in Pacific. You know, drifties for days. Trade it back and forth. But you do still have the rifles on the side of RQ, so that Sage Util not going to be as damaging. It's not going to be as impactful.
Very prepared to take these fights, though. Look at this.
Listen, we've seen some crucial kills with peaks like that, but the timing, the way he peeks out of it is just a little bit too deep into the screen, so he's not able to get the quick jiggle. And the thing is RQ had thrashed this round, but now it doesn't seem like a good investment.
It's just a nightmare of a round, Will. You know, they're trying to deal with the spike plan, but everyone's peeking out one by one from RQ. They're doing it solo. And that's just not what you want to have. I mean, the same thing, they had the idea to kind of go in for a bit of a trade up around top boiler, but it just didn't work out. Blaze King was prepared to take that shot.
Yeah, and I do like the save decision here from Jemkin, right? You don't want to give too many upgrades. They're coming for it because they have nothing to lose from GE. If they get the kill, it's another upgrade. It's more credits saved up.
Oh, yeah. Lightning Fast just like grinning from ear to ear on his player cam. Oh, no, he doesn't even keep the rifle.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Now RQ, because they were the ones who picked up the upgrades in that last round, it's not as bad, right? They'll still be able to try to make do with what they have. It's going to be a broken round with one person not having buys. This is just excellent use peeking around the spike there for Blaze King.
One incredible flick as well. I mean, that's exactly it. Look at every one of these kills. It's all RQ peeking out one by one. But you are absolutely right. So because they do get to keep their economy going for a little bit more, and Jemkin now with the operator swings out. Will need to punch right through. Tries going for the vertical flick, but not going to happen just yet. Russ pushing up front along with the mosh pit too, able to keep one of the RQ players trapped.
Yeah, trusting in that off a little bit too much for RQ. Pushes out, a bit of an overheat. You're going to hear all this info though.
Balik.
Might be able to set up a bit of a
Nice.
catches Lightning Fast on the back turn.
And this, by keeping control of mid, RQ can now regroup as a 3-man. So I like the call, right? Even though you have a read that it's most likely a rotate back to A because of the last movement of the Sage, you're just going to wait. You're going to go for that retake. You have the numbers advantage.
No util on the side of Global Esports as well. RQ is in a very good spot. Has the angle. Russ tries to get the initiative against them, but not quite able to deal with the operator. Polvi has no choice but to shoot his way out of this one. Goes in for a spray transfer. Runs out of ammo. No. Drops back down. Very easily heard. Jemkin trying to play it patient and safe. Oh, but what a flick. Back on towards the head. 2G has to clutch this out. This round, RQ had the advantage. He sneaks up the top of the window. I can see you.
1v3.
The Phantom lights up on top of the scoreboard. GE fans have been waiting for games like these. And today he's answering back. Raised diffs on the first map and an excellent clutch on the second.
Ridiculous.
This shot on Jemkin was absolutely nutty.
He's just ready for it. Took a little bit of damage in second round, but just shrug it right off, Will.
That's a huge blow to RRQ, both in game and mentally as well.
Economy running dry now. Only more still looking pot shots against them though.
Ya kayak gitu dong guys.
Look at these trades. Duels. Yeah, I mean look at that. They're never letting a death happen for no reason. I mean, Paperthin talked about it on the desk as well, but the fact that they are willing to trade, they're accepting that, yeah, we can have good reads for the start of the round. Obviously when we make a mid-round decision, it's about the reads, but afterwards, you have to be ready. And the media peak afterwards, I like it. Not having to invest the wall there. You have the weapons advantage.
Global Esports, they get to death ball in this round if they want to. Flip spots out the little elbow though. Ooh. Thrash comes out, Flip's stuck in a bad position. Unfortunately not quite able to escape. That was just a really unlucky one. Xfer now with the one and done. It's just not quite meant to be. Barrier comes up. Jemkin tries to swing around the side. What is that flick back and back? Tailwinds away into safety. Run around the max so he reloads. Back to a 2-on-2. Lightning fast. Trying to sneak around the site to find a duel.
And the spike's down though. They don't have it recovered yet.
Okay, that gets away, but what? Jemkin, just a little bit of a peek and it's enough to take him down. Back to the one-on-one. Blaze King! Even though it's at high and low, he takes it all.
I mean, so far, this is what everyone has been asking for from GE, right? It's more firepower.
Pengen kireng tapi masih hujan ya udah berapa
It's Blaze King. Why was he picked up from challengers? Why was he always hailed as one of the stronger players in Indonesia? It's all coming together. I mean, lightning fast rush, sure, they've been holding the line for a long time. But Benkai also with some steady trades today. Oh, he's going at it. I mean, GE, they haven't felt this confident all season.
It's just Indonesian Valorant stuff. But again, I mean, you're absolutely right. The firepower from Global Esports is really showing in these rounds. At the same time, though, you can't really, fault argue. Jemkin had some incredible frags.
I mean, listen, in terms of like 2v1s and clutches, unless it's teams usually like they're absolutely peaking one by one, things like that, it's generally props to the person who clutches. I mean, that previous round, sure, it starts as an eco, so quite frankly, GE getting a little messier in the beginning part of the round. But at the end of the day, they get a little lax. They think that they are able to just swarm him with the numbers advantage in that 2v1 situation. I mean, Jemkin does everything he can to try to keep them in the game. Now that the op is out, we'll see how things work out. But RQ, whenever they get this off, they tend to rely on it quite a bit to make their rotations, right? They just post up the operator, and then they wait about 10, 20 extra seconds to see if that same thing happens.
GG's gonna have to be wary. There have been a lot of
apa itu tadi?
hits up around Nest for the past couple rounds now. So RQ made the heavy investment, but guess what? Global Esports headed back into B. 2G completely backs off. Unfortunately sustains a bit of damage. That operator just still posted up. The rest of the team from RQ now unfortunately not quite able to deal against this. It's already taken up so much space. The Thresh will connect. Flips wants to capitalize on his kill.
Yeah, but they're watching for
They're
it.
watching from Hut. And it's just such a good angle to
Langsung
come
agak tuh, Ji.
fast. You even have the Viper's pit up. Although there are some kills on the board now, Jemkin marking some of these angles. Lightning fast with what an incredible swing. The pit's still up, and Blaze King slipping in and out of it. Benkai watching out from the back now. A bit of a burst, but not quite connecting the shot. Still, though, timer running out. How do you deal with this Viper's pit? Blaze King has snake bites for days. Tosses the last one out.
He's trying to creep in. The reload hears it! The reload!
No time, though.
But no time. Oh, Jemkin plays his heart out. Back-to-back rounds. But here's the other thing. I mean, GE, the real good reaction they had here was normally what they do a lot of times if it's a bit of a
Ya udah pulang.
is they'll wall off part of the site and they'll dig deep into Snowman. This time, they wall off Snowman. Say they're going to fill the site. As soon as the wall gets broken, Polby makes a judgment call to say, we got to fight for Snowman control back. He goes for it. He gets detained. He actually draws away the Thrash aggro. Lightning Fast covers him from the grades. The teamwork is just snappy today from GE.
Whether or not it's the mental coach or just the amount of work that they've done, the amount of work that the coaches have done to adjust their calling the previous days, Benkai being a little bit more communicative, it's all working out incredibly well for Global Esports. Meanwhile, for RQ, I mean, just tiny things, fractions of a second, where someone peeks out a little bit too late or fires a little bit too late. Unfortunately, even though Jemkin is topping the scoreboards, the rounds aren't going their way.
Jemkin surely wants to redeem his name a little bit as well after a very rough first map.
It's not quite happening just yet. Too many targets.
Pulang aja Barisa kalau pengen pulang mah.
Gathered some information.
Yeah, they gathered information, but they're not able to hold on to that area, right? And I think that's what we're really starting to see at the top level of Valorant these days, is simply getting information. Passive information just is not enough. You have to have a reaction. You have to still maintain 50% control of the map. Right now, RQ, they're getting pressed in. They're losing control bit by bit on both A side and B.
Information goes bad after a little while. And that's why they're investing utility just to clear and continue to try and regain control. 2G is in a pretty tricky spot, and unfortunately, the high and low catches him down.
Traffic dan nembak anjing.
Quick double to open up the B site. The rest of the squad has arrived. Look at the snake bite lineups as well. Elmimore, unfortunately, is forced to back out. Benkai now, along with the turret, maybe not quite able to land a shot. But at the very least, now very aware that there is a potential push from mid, but because it is a 2-on-4, RQ has no choice but to save.
This is rough. This is very rough for RQ. Meanwhile, very good for GE. Even that toxic screen that cuts across his B site, it actually leaves so small of a corner that it is really hard to try to peek out of that on that second floor. And like you said, because they're aware that some teams, especially RQ, they've shown it before in this map as well, they'll try to still go for a jiggle out of that screen. They even have the sneak. I mean, the setups are very good for Poli today as well. The confidence dash up onto yellow. But the toxic screen goes up right before it, so he's mastered the second floor. It all comes together for GE. The rifle picked up for Jemkin. It's just two Vandals being carried over. Not the best for RRQ in this upcoming round 8.
It is devastating, Will. I mean, you said it all. Whole being set up, talked about information and how, you got to be a little bit more active with it. But Global Esports are controlling the pace right now. First of all, yeah, they are making their presence known. And at the same time, you've got Benkai on lurks throughout mid. RQ has to be very cognizant of all of these moves, and sometimes it gets a little bit overwhelming. But at this moment in time, this week of VCT Pacific, when you have Global Esports 5 wins in a row, how do you come back from that?
This time they're going to try to actually keep control of whatever information they gain on the A side. But GE seems to be ready for it.
Okay. Jemkin tries to take contact. Oh, but kind of body blocked for a second. 2GE trying to fire back, but it's just not going to happen. Global Esports, they make it away. They'll take that one.
This is a position Flips has held during kickoff. GE surely is aware of it.
Oh!
You will not kill my ally.
Got that res. And we've been seeing this a lot. Povey and Lightning Fast double peeking, Povey taking the lead. And now with the res, it's even better.
Oh, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, it's just too risky of a position though, right?
Better to invest that lockdown in another round. Throws back around, and he will be able to find an angle. Takes down single player. Wingman, spike plant, not quite yet going through because of that Hunter's Fury. Now the lockdown gets deployed. Global Esports tries to back out. Lightning Fast, no choice but to drop. Russ trying to hold it up from around yellow, not quite expecting his her to be pushed up that much front. 2GE now coming back out from the other side. It's Russ keeping things alive for Global Esports. All on his lonesome. Separated from the pack, 2GE cannot do much.
No, you have to save. You have to. I mean, 1 HP for Russ. What a hold on yellow.
The fact that he recovered.
Sumpah ngapain ngambil defense sih, tai. Ih, ayam jadi bot. Ada tamu tuh ada yang lakson. Emang.
And listen, I said it on social media as well. Like, I accepted. I was a doubter. You know, Russ fans and GE fans told me he's been grinding. He's been looking good in ranked. He's been looking good on stream. And in my head, I was like, well, until I see it on the stage, it doesn't mean much. We've heard so much about players that they can't convert it on the stage.
Ini salah e-boxing, ngapain sih ngambil defense anjing, udah tahu defense-nya RRQ busuk, masih diambil aja.
Baca lainnya di sini.
Iya, I know. Kenapa?
And it's all because of that grind. It's all
Oh,
because
masih
from the
aku pengen pulang.
Ya udah pulang.
Malas jangan.
Ya nggak apa-apa, jalan tinggal jalan, sekalian olahraga. Ya sekalian hujan-hujan nggak apa-apa sekali.
Sama anaknya sakit besok gak bisa paras mana.
Ya enak, jadi kalau sakit besok jadi alasan nggak ikut, sama nggak sekolah.
Kan emang gak sekolah izin.
Nah ya makanya, kan sekalian gak usah ikut enak. Besok bisa tidur di rumah.
Ini lain kabogo. Lain. Ketawa. Rese punya saudara nih. Lain kabogo.
Ada kabogo.
Lain.
Lain, anakmu udah punya kabogo. Gimana caranya?
Kebaca terus ini 17. Kalau 57 masih bisa ini, tapi segitu.
Kamu ninggalin
Ibu serius banget ini. Rese ini.
Sumpah gaya mah David sama-sama nggak nembak cok, dua orang itu.
ada kabogo.
Lain kabogo ya Allah.
Apa dikatakan?
Ayo ada siapa? Biasa Farisa dengan segala keributannya Paul. Ada Farisa dengan segala keributannya dia.
Kamu bareng jeng Akmal aja Dika. Dika. Lain kabogo, just friend, we are just friend ya kan? Ya kan? Ya kan Om? Lain kan? Mantap. Sudah.
Udah
Dia
gini.
tuh bang. Tuhan suka aku di om ke soalnya berat. Tapi dia aku panggil bang. Udah jangan salah paham. Lain kabogo astagfirullahaladzim ya udah yang ditempelin. Ganggu banget ya. Karena deh keluar lagi.
Gak apa-apa, tapi ini lemes aku.
Still hot for the duels though.
Iya.
Able to flick back. There's the board. Goodness.
Bisa tuh sih. Soalnya dia cicing mak. Iya mas cicing. Ya mau Dika.
But really the focus is on the fact that GE is reading RQ like a book. And here's the thing, even that round, right?
Kenapa?
But you know if they
Kebantai 18.
so you're basically
Iya, tinggal makan. Aku juga lapar.
starting point of the same plant. Then you put up the siege wall,
Yeah.
eyes any of the flood all the way to the plant. You send the wingman to make sure they're not breaking the wall.
Nggak
too
makan.
easily.
Aku juga lapar sih.
GE knows how this
Ayo
game is
jajan,
played on the
cireng.
opposite side.
Very familiar, knowing how to work around the pit. It's just, it feels bad for our team
Video
right
kan,
now.
video kan.
Like you
Video
mentioned,
kan.
making all the right
Nggak salah gue.
technical positions, you know, on paper.
Dasar lu Dika.
Something that converts into a round win, and if that round wins are something that
Jajan cireng di sana.
Mantap.
Beli shop.
Dan mantap ayo. Dapetin 48. Yuk 48 yuk. Yuk 48. 48 ayo. Masa 53 kalah? Kalau 53 kalah kebangetan anjing.
making sure that they have mid
Tinggalin
coverage.
beda.
Kalau menang Anda
On
terakhir.
the A flank as well.
Oh, udah.
I mean, the positioning this round.
Ya nanti.
Kalau menang Anda terakhir.
Nggak ada hubungannya.
Too much, not going up too often.
Nice.
Off shot onto the window, barrel
Nice.
spotted. It's a team ace. It's a
Tidak,
flawless
tidak.
win. RRQ keeps
Sabar,
themselves
nanti ke HP.
afloat.
Udah oke kan? Oh,
Float's
enggak.
the perfect way to
Harus.
describe it. They're gonna desperately
Halo,
flatten
Paul.
these last
Gimana
two rounds.
kabarnya?
Any sort of comfort going into
Halo,
the second
Paul.
half.
Mampir
Halo.
lagi.
Realize at a 4-8, it's not too bad. But this time, Flip's not alone on that lurk. That catches GE off guard a little bit. Then a heavy
Nice.
Sorry Bang Paul, ini lagi di rumah saudara, nanti banget. Tapi aku bosan jadi aja. Meret.
Bisa gitu. Ada banyak saudara bisa bosen itu gimana ceritanya ya?
Let's see if they can keep it up.
Oke, Lili di
Still
sini.
very much in this fight.
Halo Li.
Only have 2 rounds. It's not over yet. Global esports starting to fan out now, though.
Ada.
Trying to catch a sneaky one.
Jagain dong itu di jadinya. Nice. Nice.
Oh,
Yo mulai nyala yuk, oke yuk. Oke, nyala. Yuk, oke. Pistol run-nya menangin. Lu kalah gara-gara dari tadi kalau pistol run-nya. Hit.
Mbak pulang yuk.
taking things to their own
Pulangnya
hands,
jalan.
trying to fight the pace.
Yuk, berdua aja yuk.
Esports now, they
Dadah, dadah. Dadah, dadah, Biwi.
couldn't quite react to in time.
Ah,
The rest of
dadah,
the
dadah, Biwi.
not backing down. They pushed into the B side.
Cek dong, under gitu dicek dong.
Stuck in, he doesn't know.
Udah ketahuan
Fokus
nih.
kan, pulang jalan. Dadah. See you, darling.
Snowman trying to play around yellow. Polvi, can he do it? He's got
Nice.
so many targets to hit. Jemkin on the operator. Just
Nice.
right down.
Yuk 48 yuk 48.
Into yellow. RRQ keeps themselves going.
I mean, RQ's been losing pretty badly, so we haven't talked about it much, but Jemkin's shots have been on fire this map, right? He was a little bit heavy on that first map. Willis definitely showed a bit of a raised diff. This time on the Jem, the very least, the shots are sharp, just absolutely sharp.
Ya,
He's always been that duelist ever since those colors in Ascension. He's been talked about, and this is why RQ picked him up. Still needs so much more justifying these rounds. Sometimes doing a little bit of heavy lifting.
I like this timeout from GE. A bit of a counter timeout a couple rounds in, but, you know, cool them off as they're starting to heat up. Make sure you can reset, you can get the 9-3 even better. Things like that.
Bapak mentek.
Sure, but it is like
Tahu Bapak di mana di dalam?
very kind of a curious one, but
Eh,
nonetheless
temenin aku yuk.
for the 9-3 because
Temenin apa? Jalan.
halftime
Bakal jalan
Ya.
pulang kah?
take that round.
Boleh.
Iya, ini beneran jus jalan sambil hujan.
Nggak apa-apa, enak kan?
To map point.
Yeah, I mean,
Sekalian
listen, you
hujan-hujan.
get two timeouts. I'm sure you might.
Jadi aku
Ya,
pengen
jadi
ngambil
jangan-
satu
You're
ini.
so far ahead that I think if
wanna
you're,
close it out.
yeah, if
Apa
you're
aja?
forced to use both,
Capek nanjak.
I think those timeouts end up feeling bad either
Yeay.
way, right? 'Cause you're kinda
Sekalian olahraga, Farisa.
as well. So I don't
Tuh kakak mau
mind it.
pulang.
Like I'm not gonna say it's
Ya,
objectively,
kayaknya.
you know, the best timeout or
Kakak
anything
mau
like that.
pulang.
But obviously, especially
Ayo,
based on maybe
atuh.
what he's seeing in the comms, things like that.
Ceng lu, bonjeng tiga.
Jemkin on the other side, 16-6 and
Enggak, ini jalan kaki.
keeping RQ afloat.
Kukira bonjeng 3.
Kan,
Even with the
mas.
spike going
Aku
off,
psycho.
able to snap
Enggak
things
naik
like
motor,
that.
enggak. Jalan kaki.
Critical.
Ya.
Ini apa ya?
Global esports now
Aku yang pegang.
taking things a little
Ya,
bit slow,
ada.
at least for the time being.
Kamu nggak mau ngapain? Tahu.
RQ has game plans to work against this garage push.
Oh, this is a
Jemkin
trap.
up on
Itu
top.
sebenarnya tandingnya sampai kapan itu turnamen?
Dizzy, everything is
Sebulanan.
almost in.
Mantap.
More firing
48.
shots through the toxic screen, catching
Nggak mungkin dong.
esports.
Nggak mungkin
Kakak
dong.
mau jalan gang?
Oh, this was a nasty
Apa
setup
jalan
from
gede?
Flank dong.
I mean, the lineup of
Oh, ya.
Udah ketahuan dong, nggak mungkin kalah dong.
just overall, this
Nggak mungkin kalah dong.
so good. And then the high-low.
Sehebat-hebatnya Dasin, sumpah kalau dia bisa ngeklat sini. Dewa
Iya,
dia.
Lurk through mid, though, will
Dewa dia kalau
Kakak
bisa
nggak ikut juga Cina.
ikut ngapain?
But look,
Turnamen juga
shots
gitu, kayak
firing
online
through,
gitu.
making him
Nggak.
uncomfortable.
Karena tahu nggak pasti menang, nggak bakal menang juga.
What a read, and they pull out a new one from the
Jangan
scrapbook.
pesimis.
Emang yakin nggak bakal menang juga. Buat
Nah,
apa
ditutup
juga?
jalannya.
Yeah, I mean, very good.
Ayo
Deh.
muter.
Very good read from RQ.
Ayo sini.
The reason I don't mind it
Angkat,
is
angkat,
because
angkat. Ayo masuk, masuk, masuk. Aku
hard for
pegang.
Sean to beat from
Masuk.
GE, right? Generally, they're always kind of scouting for information on A. They take
Maaf,
over
ini
price
yang punya
control a little
pohon,
bit,
yang
and then
punya
they slow
jalan,
people
maaf
to
ya.
B. You see that final timeout, you think they might
Itu belakangmu apa itu? Di atas putih-putih apa, Farisa?
Apa nggak ada? Tiang ini, udah ada kunti.
Siapa tahu ada.
Mana mungkin?
Mungkin aja.
Enggak lah. Allahu Akbar, tuh kan kesandung.
Alhamdulillah.
Ih, alhamdulillah lagi. Tuh kan, ini masih buka. Pengen jajan, Hanas tuh minta duit.
Nice to see it. Awesome. I mean, it's a very satisfying round. A lot of satisfying support.
Sedang jalan mencari masuk itu guys. Ih, 2%. Baiklah.
Anjing Dustin yang ngebaca semua ini. Serius dibaca game Cin.
Iya kucing, lucu. Mahal, meng mahal ih, ini lucu ih. Ih,
Bawa pulang.
udah masuk rumah orang. Ah, masuk rumah orang iya.
Ya,
Mahal tahu. Kucing apa sih?
Anggora.
Lucu.
Persia.
Motifnya itu kayak coklat putih gitu.
Ya motif itu ya menentu, tapi jenis rasnya. Setiap ras bisa jadi motifnya ada yang bakal sama juga ada.
Yeah, this is always going to be the trouble. This time they're able to get rid of the wall pretty early, but at the end of the day, GE.
Astaga,
GE just knows how to work around.
astaga, pistolnya kalah
Siapa yang
lagi.
nyebelin?
And with the angles, lightning fast for us. Managing to take down
Ras,
so
Ras,
many
apa
players.
yang
It's all
nyebelin?
down to GE. He tries to swing around, but Blaze
GG
can
sih
seize
ini.
upon him.
Aduh, tidak.
Kalah, biarin.
Yeah, this is not
Gak
my
ngerti
time
aku.
to join
Tidak,
Gak ngerti.
tidak.
For Blaze King for sure.
Iya.
But yeah, that Sage wall, I mean, sure, it comes out early, so RQ is able to break through it.
Ah,
But the fact
Tidak.
is, RQ, they always have to worry about using that util dump too early.
Aku udah bilang
Tidak.
punten, berarti aku kayak sudah mengizinkan kalian lewat. Sudah tidak usah punten lagi. Pokoknya kalau parutan gitu. Keseluruhan, punten itu per orang. Ah,
That's gonna be a lot of map.
Itunya sumpah ngebitmu
timnya kalah.
bareng. Astaga. Kodas
Alhamdulillah kalah.
tidak. Aduh, rata. Aduh.
Alhamdulillah kalah. Alhamdulillah. Kan apapun harus bersyukur.
Kalah terus 4 kali pistolnya.
Bersyukur.
Dia dapat 3 loh, Dustin loh, tai emang Dustin.
Jangan jalan BRI deh, licin.
Harap gara-gara
Mending nyebrang deh.
The glow in their eyes. They
Yang
know
yuk.
that they can win these
Wah.
fights. That's why they're taking them. That's why they're going for it, Will. And now Polly marking the angle. He's threading the needle. Where are our
2%.
Jemki.
Polly flicks onto Jemkin's head. Rifle
Jalan sini, jangan sono.
away from under his arms.
Sini sempit ketang.
Yeah, guess Sage now, your Gecko Silva Cop, you don't have your Jack.
GG sih udah sih.
Yeah, all you have to do is cut audio. This is your only chance, and it gets spotted.
Kalah ya, kalah ya.
Berisik.
Alhamdulillah dulu.
Around him. Russ is providing him with so much support.
Alhamdulillah dulu.
Can't quite walk
Kan
through.
kalah.
They've suffered a lot from the pistol round. They don't want to make it happen again.
Yeah, RQ knows cutting audio is the only option. But he gets spotted again. He doesn't know that, but he is spotted. So GE's very well
cantik
aware of
juga ya.
this. Already put on the site.
Tidak, udah GG. GG sih. Oh, close lagi ya.
Tidak mulu.
Dapat bonus lagi. GG udah.
You have to force here, otherwise it's smash point. It's a terrible round to have to force on, but they had to buy the full armors last time because of the outlaw. The outlaw's still there, but you don't have much of an option. Right, you can't play to not lose. So RRQ really finding themselves up against the wall here. And I mean, this is again what I was talking about with the compositional differences, right? The wall comes out. I mean, sure, your jet is down as well.
Waktu gini aja nyala COVID. Tai emang.
Ya dulu deh.
Hold on to it late.
HP ku
and you don't have
1%.
as much information. Things like that.
Ya.
Oh, but the trap play.
Tahu nggak sih? Nice.
Managed to check the angle. Polvi still with the outlaw. RQ's just waiting for the peek.
I like that he doesn't dash out, right? I mean, I don't know about going back in, but he'll find one.
Now they know it's the outlaw. They have no choice but to swing out. Russ is here. Global Esports. This is their round. This is their match. Swapped on over to the Sheriff. Doesn't matter if Russ is down. Benkai coming back in. It is now map and match point for Global Esports.
Aduh, GG sih udah.
What a turnaround for GE. And
Udah GG. Dibaca sama Dustin.
right? We constantly talk
Dibaca sama
about
Ko Dustin
the
ini
reads, the
Arabnya.
plans, the prep. It's all there,
Aduh,
but the
Russ
execution's
gitu
not.
nyate.
For sure, some viewers, they were getting sick of it, right? Because at a certain point, you're like, well, if they can't execute ever, then when does it happen? Then it doesn't matter what prep they have. But at the end of the day, today they're not only firing, but it's the positionals, it's the timings, the rotations even on Lotus were very good. Very, very solid match.
It's just, it has been weeks, you know, Will. Global Esports, ever since kickoffs, looking a little bit shaky, but ever so slightly improving again and again.
Oh, udah GG.
With his teammate, has that cover, so he has the confidence to peek out of the screen, and they
Udah
put on
GG,
Yellow.
GG,
So
GG.
2 members down, you still have the operator. B side is locked down, and GE doesn't even care about it. They still have the util, and they can go for a retake. They even have the res. They could flood at any point.
Ben's just watching tube. If anyone tries to pull something sneaky, it's not gonna happen. RRQ just going forward. That's their only option. Updraft up.
Udah GG,
And Russ
GG.
is made aware.
GG, udah GG.
That spike tap. There it goes.
They're going to wait. They want to make sure, is there still a late lurk, right? Is there a wraparound? Because how else are you going to win this round? Now, Thrash online, 4 flips,
Sorry.
but he's on yellow, so the timing has to be good. He's just going to use it to delay.
Okay. Just play time as much as possible. Jemkin needs to land his first shot right here.
It's all about Jemkin, but the far peek out.
Spots him all over the place. Lightning fast with the up shot to open things up, and instantly down goes
Okay, udah.
RRQ. Expero the
Woo!
only left, and he lands a triple. Tries to swing
GG.
up to the top, but
GG.
just a little bit too slippery from him.
GG.
Global Esports
GG.
picks up their first win in BCT Pacific.
Ah, fuck.
And with that, not a single team is winless in BCT Pacific. Everything's still in flux. And GE, they finally give back to the fans that have been holding on to hope for so long.
Thank you buat yang udah nonton. Thank you buat semua. Bye bye.